everything we do that is promotional and competitive minded, Richie is absolutely behind. Uh, if it's something like this, he's very supportive. If it's something like the Kong off, well, then he is the organizer, and he would certainly give you a better overview than any one of us for sure. All right.
So great. Thank you.
Hello, Richie.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's actually interesting because I told everybody that actually yesterday I saw your movie, The King of Arcades. Yeah.
Yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah, because I ordered it, I found it on eBay, and I just received it yesterday, and I was watching it yesterday night. So,
Fantastic.
so it's actually interesting that I see all the people now in the background that I saw yesterday in the movie.
Yeah, yeah. We are about 10 hours away, and Carrie Cheney owns this arcade. It's called The Place, and all of us just rally together. Any arcade owner or anyone that is, trying to help out with the promotion of this hobby. So we all rally behind him and, give our support and come out and have a good time. And I don't even think I've touched a joystick, a button, or a trackball today. I've just been saying hello to everyone and enjoying, yeah, just enjoying the day. My daughter's played more than I have today.
Oh yes, interesting. Yeah, I saw the movie. You actually introduced her to arcade gaming and so on. So she must be like 8 or 9 nowadays.
Very good. She's 8, and she just had, I think, 1.9 on Rampage. So she played for close to an hour on Rampage. So,
Wow,
yeah,
destroying
she,
all the buildings.
up, destroying all the buildings, and she plays. I have close to 70 arcade games in the new arcade, and she plays quite often. And she's good. She's good at Star Wars. She's good at Dragon's Lair. She's really good at Donkey Kong. It's funny at 8 years old how good she is at the new games.
So you still have your new arcade because that movie was kind of sad seeing that your first arcade went down. So
Well, the story behind that, the backstory is we closed the original arcade, which was 2,500 square feet, about 80 to 100 games, and my wife, who is now my ex-wife, asked me to close the arcade to save the marriage. We didn't really explain that well in the movie, and
not at
since
all, right?
yeah, and I didn't have anything to do with the movie in the editing. I was just the subject, and the way that the director told the story, he tried to keep it very positive and upbeat and happy, and sort of tell the story of a guy that's just chasing his dream. And in reality, it's been probably the roughest 2 years of my entire life, well, the last 2 years. But the good part is I was able to remain such a strong, positive father to Faith, and I have her more than 50% of the time. I have her probably 75% of the time.
Yeah, actually in the movie it looks more like you went bankrupt with the first arcade or something.
Well, that's the way that Sean decided to make the spin so people wouldn't ask, when in reality, money had nothing to do with it. In fact, there's a hint towards that when I'm in the trailer right before I hit my head, that I'm saying that, oh my God, we broke all rec sales records. So money didn't have anything to do with it. It was all family based. And the woman that I married just didn't have the same dreams I did. She's a wonderful person. She's a great mom. And I have nothing bad to say. It's just we didn't share the same dreams.
That's interesting because in the movie it was actually looking like she and anticipate. I don't know. She actually tried to encourage you to go on with the arcade. This is
Yeah, it's kind of funny because that's exactly opposite of what it really was like. But in the beginning, don't get me wrong, in the beginning when everything was exciting and new, it was fun for her. But then it got old real quick, especially when she always said that I was never fully there. I was there, but my mind was never there because my mind is always, I'm one of those people that I'm always thinking and things are going through my head. And she said mentally I was never there. That's really it. But let's talk about something happy.
Of course. So nowadays you have your new arcade, and oh yes, there's that movie, right? You just hold it in your hand.
Yeah, that was Billy. That was Billy. I didn't hold it up. He
Ah,
was going like,
okay, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Here
there
we
it
go.
is.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one that I actually that I actually saw yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. There's
great.
something super has come of this. A production company out of I think it's the UK, contacted me about doing a reality TV series based on this character, and we've been filming the pilot. So hopefully that will come to fruition. The company that's behind it is big time, like very, very, very important company in the U.S. Probably the biggest publicity company in the world.
So there will be a series about your story.
Yep, about what we do, and I'm trying to introduce it. And what's funny too is a lot of the stuff that my good fortune has come to me was because of befriending Billy and Walter. And when they came to me and asked me about the story, I said, "Would you like me to try to introduce Billy and Walter into the story?" And they said, "Billy and Walter who?" So they had never seen the King of Kong or didn't know who he was. So I kind of feel, all right, I'm bringing something to the table now. I'm introducing these guys to these guys. So that was a nice change.
So actually, you had to introduce other people to the founder of Twin Galaxies and stuff. Usually
And
it's the other way around. Yeah.
what had happened was is they did a magazine article about me in a magazine called The Shortlist. The Shortlist, I guess, was a pretty big magazine in the UK, and someone had seen the article in The Shortlist, watched The King of Arcades, and then contacted me about doing a reality TV show. Yeah, now let's go and look for my arcade page. It's Richie Knucklez Arcade Games.
Let's see.
Same
About
same exact spelling, but this
here,
time,
owner at Richie Knuckles Arcade
yeah.
Games.
And click.
Great.
And that's where you can see all the pictures of my restorations and all the games that we have and what's the lineup at my arcade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here we go. That's off-road. Great. Unfortunately, not every arcade has games in a as perfect as new condition like your arcade, I guess.
That is what we try. We try to have the games with the best monitors, best controls, even the cabinet to the point that the cabinet looks new.
But I think at some point there must be some games that you can't restore to its original state.
Like what?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
No. We do them all. It all depends. I think I can't really think of a single game that, you know what? There's a game called Super Sprint. Do you remember Super Sprint?
It's a racing game, I think.
Three-player racing game. I'm in the middle of restoring that one, but I'm at the point that I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to keep it exactly true to the original with the small 19-inch monitor, or if I want to put a nice big 29-inch medium resolution monitor on it so it's bigger and it just looks so good. And I take my purest values on one hand and then just something that kicks total major ass in the other hand. And I think I'm going to go with the kicking major ass and put the big screen in it.
That's the standard. So
Yeah, I could do whatever I want, Billy says. If Billy says I could do whatever I want, I could do whatever I want.
that's the standard.
Interesting thing is, I heard from the technician at the arcade that I went to that especially the early mechanical arcade games like horse riding and so on, they are very difficult to reconstruct.
Yes, you are correct. The 1970s, the Bronze Era, and before and prior, the ones like you're talking about, the electromechanical ones, like a lot of the shooting ones and ones like that, yeah, they're hard to restore. But I have restored those before and made them look nice and got all, brand new coils, made all the contacts and the switches clean and get them all working. They can be done. It's just a little more tedious. And also, too, a little less fun.
But how do you get the time? I mean, you also need some time to make a work for a living or something, right?
Well, what we do, and I'm very fortunate that I'm able to make a living at it. We have the arcade, and it's a multifaceted business model. We do 2 nights a week. We have open arcade night. It's $10 to get in. All the people come in and they play, and all the games are on free play. So we get between 40, if not 50 people on a Friday, maybe 30, if not 40 people on a Saturday. So that's close to $700 a week in cash for just Friday and Saturday nights. We also do birthday parties, which is $250 a birthday party. We do around 3 or 4 birthday parties a weekend, and then I sell the games. Like you saw in the movie, I did the Space Invaders. A Space Invaders like that sells for $3,000. So say I sell one of those a week. Add it all up, and it's enough to support a family, just barely.
But it must also be hard for you to sell something that you put so much hours on to repair, to restore it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sometimes you gotta let go. But yes,
Uh,
you are right. You are right. It is hard, especially when it's a one that I've searched for 20 odd years to find. Finally found the game that I've been looking for 20 years, and then within a week, someone wants to buy it, and you put a price tag on that. And sometimes when it goes out the door, I'm like, oh my God, I got to wait another 20 years until I find another one of those again. It's going to be rough. But again, they're just things. Uh, Somebody once told me, on this earth, nothing is yours. Everything is just borrowed. It's not really ours. It's just ours for that short period of time that it can be considered ours, and we're just borrowing it and passing it along. So when I do sell a game that I really liked or one I put a lot of time in, at least someone's getting to enjoy it. Not necessarily me anymore, but it's in a home and found a good home, and you find pleasure in that as well. Especially when you get the note or an email afterwards about how much they love it, how much it's getting enjoyed. It makes it all worth it.
but how did you actually start into that hobby of arcade gaming and that repairing thing? I think that was not really mentioned in the movie. How did you start your hobby?
I was 19 years old, and I was on the boardwalk. I live very close to the beach. I'm a big surfer, and my brother and I were surfing. And after we were done surfing, we were eating pizza, and there was a punch-out machine that wasn't working. And I was one of those guys that could play punch-out forever on a quarter. One quarter, play for hours. And I wanted to play some punch-out, and the guy said it wasn't working. I said, I bet I could fix it. He said, you want to buy it? I said, yeah, I have a pickup truck, and the surfboards were taking up only a little bit of room, so I had enough room for the punch out. So I took it home with me, and that's how it got started. I fixed it when I got home, painted it, redid the decals, and the rest is history. Then I started buying and buying and buying. I had a two-bedroom house with a full basement, and the full basement, within 6 months of me living there, there was like 40 games in the basement. So I had my own back in 19, let's see, if I moved out of my parents' house when I was 20, 88, like 1989, I had a full basement arcade in 89
I only
before the
have
internet.
one.
I see it back there. It looks like, don't tell me, it looks like, oh my God, you're from Germany, so it's going to be hard for me to tell you, but it looks, you know what? I don't know what that is.
It's
Wait, is it a MAME?
no, no, no. It's a real arcade, but it's made out of an URL video action. It was a poker game with a lot of buttons, but they made a panel for me with joysticks, switchable between 8 ways and 4 ways. So
Cool.
yeah. So,
What do you play on it?
well, anything actually that works horizontal because you can't turn the monitor. So played a lot of Double Dragon.
Oh, I was just gonna say that. The first thing I was gonna say was, I bet you played Double Dragon.
Yeah, Street
Yup.
Fighter. You know,
That's my
and that's
baby.
your
That's Faithy.
daughter.
Yeah, it's
Great.
Faithy.
Hello. Hi.
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 It's Faith.
Great.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
having fun.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, is there any game you always wanted to own but never actually saw?
Hmm. I've been very lucky to acquire almost every grail that I've wanted. Let me think. If there was anything out there right now, yes. The only one that I could really think of that I would love to find is a Quantum. Do you remember Quantum? Trackball vector game?
No, I don't know
Oh,
that one.
Atari Quantum. I'd like to get one of those.
How about the new games? I was in Peru 2 years ago, and in Latin America they still have arcades and they have new machines. You know, they almost look like PCs inside. You know, with CD and DVD drives and so on. But I guess that's not really what you're after, right? That's too modern for you.
Yeah, you know what? If there was one I want to get a Doodle Jump. I don't know if you ever saw Doodle Jump. My daughter and I, whenever we go to Dave and Buster's, I'm really good at that one, and I don't know why, I just like it. So
And
I'd
there's
want to
even
Doodle
an
Jump.
arcade version of Doodle Jump.
It's a lot different than the free app that you could get on the iPhone, and like, it's a lot different. It's more intense.
I only know the app version. You know.
Yeah, it's a really really big. I guess it would be like a 40-inch screen, but instead of horizontal, it's vertical, and this huge joystick like this big, and you're like steering it like that, and it's got like a spring on it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I'm lucky enough to know Eugene Jarvis. Eugene Jarvis is the owner of Raw Thrills, and Raw Thrills is the distributor of Doodle Jump, and he said he could get me one. So if I was ever going to get a brand new, modern type game, that'd be the only arcade version I'd probably get.
So where does your collection stop? At the moment they introduced LCD, or is there any other attribute where you say, okay, this is too modern for me?
Yeah, we do. We cut off at the arcade, not counting pinball, because we do have like the new Metallica pinball and the new Wizard of Oz pinball. But we cut off videos right around Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat. So anything past Mortal Kombat, we don't really get into. We do Mortal Kombat and older.
Oh, okay. So Mortal Kombat is the last game you actually have.
Yeah, I would say right around that is the cutoff. San Francisco Rush the Rock, the green dual racer, we have one of those, or we have two of those. I can't fit both of them in the arcade at the current time. But Rush the Rock or Mortal Kombat, right around there, that's sort of at where we cut off. But there isn't a strict rule that I follow. It's just whatever I feel like. But that's sort of where we're at.
Yeah, I think Tekken was 95, which is actually PlayStation 1 in our arcade machine, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Because it was really hard to get the extra wires for the extra buttons. That harness cable, that was really hard to find, you know.
Yeah, the extra buttons for the extra yeah, the harness. I had a Tekken 3 at one time, and I was lucky that it came with everything. But people have told me that it's hard to find that. You're pretty knowledgeable. You know your stuff. I'm very impressed.
Thank you. Yes. Well,
Yes.
I did so many interviews, and as I said, arcade is really one of my hobbies. Actually, my grandfather introduced me to the Commodore 64. This is how it all started. When I was 8 at 1990, I got my first Commodore 64 at my birthday, and this is how I started into retro gaming. And it always kept me ever since. So, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, and since 2012, I'm interviewing famous people, you know. So I spoke to Wife Bear and other people, you know, and even Alexei Pechetnov who did Tetris. So very happy that I'm able to talk to people. And actually, by Chase Hall, I got in touch with Walter Day, and he put me in touch with Billy Mitchell, and this is how I all got it started. Speaking to you guys. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Next Friday, I'm not sure with your time schedule, but next Friday we're going to do a broadcast on Twitch TV, and the website is, of course, twitch.tv/Richie Knucklez, and it's going to be
see.
10 p.m. Yeah, TWITCH.
It's actually funny because yesterday when I was seeing the movie, I was thinking about, well, you could put him on the interview list next, and now I'm interviewing you, not having planned it. But,
Wow. How lucky am I?
Yeah. Well, I'm the lucky guy. But I'm glad that you say that I prepared well enough. Yeah, I like to know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah, I'm very impressed.
So I'm always making some research here.
Yeah, you know your stuff.
Yeah. So you will be involved in series. What else have you been involved with before that movie actually?
Oh well, Billy probably touched upon the Kong Off. I started off with Kong Off 1 back probably 3-4 years ago. Billy and I together just threw it together and said, let's do this, and had a great time, and it's really caught on. The support for it has been really great, and the Kong Off 4 is going to be July 30th, 31st, August 1st, and August 2nd at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Replay FX is the name of the festival, and they have 700 pinball machines. They have 500 arcade games. It's going to be insane, but Kong Off 4 is going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, July 30th, 31st, August 1st, and August 2nd. And Steve Wiebe already signed on to be there. Billy, of course, will be there. Hank Chen, Robbie Lakeman, all the big names will be there.
That's interesting to know, because I spoke to him, Steve Wiebe, a month ago, and he said he's not sure if he is going to make it. But if you say now that he assured you he comes, that's good news.
Yeah, he'll be there. I talked to him, in fact, day before yesterday. And
Okay.
He called me, so I wasn't the one chasing him down. So yeah, he's going.
So how would you describe Kong off? I mean, what is it for you?
What do you mean? What is it for me? What is the
I
Kong
mean,
off
I
for
mean,
me?
I mean, I mean, from your perspective, if you had to explain to somebody what a Kong off is.
Oh, it's just like any sporting event, but Donkey Kong is the sport. We get together, all the best players, and they compete to see who's the best Donkey Kong player in a live setting under the pressure, not somebody that's sitting in their bedroom playing, 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, without anybody bothering them, any kids. When they play, it's in a live setting and where it counts. So the pressure's on. And to me, that's fun. It's fun to watch. And this year we're introducing a bracket style tournament. The first few days will be a high score contest, but the high score will get a prize. But the big money is given to the guy that at the end wins the bracket tournament. The high score contest will decide the seats. Like the highest score, number 1, will play number 12, and number 2 will play 11, and so on. And whoever wins the bracket tournament is the one who'll get the big money. And the prize money is already up to 5,000, could possibly be higher, could possibly be up to 10 grand.
So it's like an e-gaming event.
Yes. Yes, this one's going to be a lot of fun. Very interesting. Billy keeps saying he wants to say something. What's up, Bill?
We've had people from the U.S., Canada, and even Australia. Maybe he can help us. We want to get a European who's really good at Donkey
Yeah, that's a
Kong to come out.
great idea.
Maybe there's something he can plug.
I don't know how to go about that, but if you could also spread the word or know anyone that would be able to spread the word. We
Sure.
have a lot of people from Australia are very into it. A lot of people from Canada, big time Canada. But it seems like everywhere else in Europe hasn't really jumped on the Donkey Kong bandwagon. In the UK, don't get me wrong, a lot of people contact me from the UK, but not about Donkey Kong, about other games.
Never had a player.
We haven't had a player from Europe yet that has been world champion caliber. They've got to be out there. I'm not saying they're not there. They just haven't discovered us.
Of course, I mean, when we publish the interview, I can ask around. I mean, it's no problem. I mean, what I'm going to do is we are making 2 issues per year. It's actually a magazine for the Commodore 64, a disc magazine, and we are publishing it on YouTube and at the transcribed version in the magazine. So it will be around summer. And then, of course, we could mention that you're looking for people from Germany and other countries in Europe. Maybe there is somebody who is good at Donkey Kong. Yeah.
If there is, and he scores top 12, one of the top 12 U.S. people will get Das Boot.
Great. So
Right over his head.
so what actually are your games apart from Punch Out in which you are good?
I have the world record on.
Space Invaders.
Yeah. And I play Phoenix. I have the world record on Phoenix. And
Wow.
Space Fury. Stalker. What else? Monaco GP. I have a Monaco GP Pro Edition that goes past 9999. That one. I love that game. I play 720. I don't know if you remember the skateboarding game. Skate or Die.
Yes, of
720.
course I do. One of my favorites. Yeah.
I'm not the greatest, but I'm good at that. I could put up a top 3 score on that. Oh, so many games I like. But those are some of the ones I'm really good at.
But I guess you are mostly focusing on repairing.
Yeah, I don't get to play anymore. Ever since my daughter got to the point that, it's not easy. It's not as easy when she turns 8. At 8 years old, she's got a personality, and we do things other than play video games now. So,
Great.
it's not as much time to play.
But I guess she will always come back and play sometimes.
Oh yeah, she plays a lot. I just don't get to play as much.
Great.
Right now, we're trying to pay the bills.
Right. So what are your other future plans apart from running the arcades?
I would like to be able to grow the arcade to the point that I could have somebody else run most of the menial tasks that I do there and free me up to do some more things that I enjoy rather than because I'm really a one-man operation. I have 2 employees, and most of the time all they do is clean up and work the counter. I would like it, to be able to free me up to do the things that I enjoy, like restoring the games more so. And also, too, to spend some time and come over to see Germany. I'd love to be able to see Europe and take some vacation time. I haven't had vacation in quite some time.
But have you been in arcades abroad?
No, I've never been out of Canada, Mexico, United States, and I would love to be able to come over to Europe. One of my
Well,
dreams.
or Latin America. I guess Latin America is more interesting for you because they still have running arcades.
Hmm.
I mean, I have been in Sao Paulo in 2012 and they have really good arcades. But the difference is that a lot of the machines there, at least I spotted because I know the difference, are MAME PCs
Oh
inside
yeah,
an arcade cabinet, you know.
yeah. That's hurtful.
Is it?
Yeah, to me
But
it's hurtful.
but isn't it better to have a working machine than none at all?
Hmm. No.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. That's interesting, yeah. But I mean, I was helping restoring Wing Wars, you know Wing Wars, the two-seaters, and it was actually surprised those flight stick they did cost $400 each,
Wow.
you know, and they
Yeah.
were actually manufacturing it on order. So you would order it, and 8 months later they would ship it to you because they have to produce it first.
Wow.
So actually, some companies are still producing replacement parts.
Yeah, we are lucky too in the U.S. There are many companies that reproduce the artwork and reproduce the artwork very, very well. So there's a lot of games that you can restore over here pretty easily because there's so many great people like Rich from This Old Game, uh, Phoenix Arcade, Quarter Arcade. There's quite a few that do really, really good reproduction artwork.
So actually, seeing that, now we have a backwards trend since the last 5 years that the public is more interested into retro gaming again. So more and more arcades are opening up again rather than closing.
That's true. That's true. They're popping up all over the place. That's why I said they're popping up like dandelions. It's been crazy,
But on
especially
the
bar arcades as well.
pardon?
In around this area, a lot of bar slash arcades.
Ah,
They're
so
becoming popular.
so like you would drink something and then like play. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's your opinion actually about pinballs? Because that was not even mentioned in the movie.
I love pinball. I am not a, how would I say it, a seasoned tech or an expert on pinball. So I can't really, I like to stand behind statements. I like to stand behind my work. And I am still very new when it comes to restoring pinball machines and repairing pinball machines. I know my way around a machine. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not the best. And there's people out there that could just run circles around me when it comes to restoring a pinball machine. But we do dabble in pinball machines, and we have close to 20 in our arcade.
Which is not so much compared to the amount of the arcades that you actually run.
My ratio is probably 80% video, 20% pinball.
That's actually interesting because the arcade that I go to in Germany, it's actually the other way around. You have 2 people repairing arcades and 30 people repairing pinballs.
Yeah, pinballs take a lot more, definitely a lot more attention to keep them running. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and a lot more people seem to be attracted to it when it comes to, casual players. Like, actually, when I go to the arcade, there are like the kids are going to the arcades and arcade games, and actually the wives, the women, they actually go to play the pinball machines.
Hmm. I
So
find that as well.
yeah, you
Yeah,
also
yeah.
see that women are more likely to play a pinball machine instead.
Well, they get a chance to bust the ball around.
To me, it's more easy to get into and more controllable.
Mm. Well, I like them both, and it depends what mood I'm in. Even though I've been here at Carrie's Arcade for about 7 hours now, and I've probably played the pinball machine 20 times, and I haven't even touched a video game yet.
Seriously.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
So it depends what mood I'm in.
Uh, and what's your opinion about video games, by the way?
My opinion?
Yeah.
I love them. I wouldn't. I'm pretty lucky that I was introduced to them as a young kid. It's something that keeps your wits sharp, something that keeps your brain active, makes you have to solve puzzles, quick reaction time. Just something that I grew up on and something I hold dear to my heart.
And how about the new generation that we have since the smartphones, on a touchscreen and stuff?
Yeah, well, my daughter is 8, and she plays a lot of Minecraft. She plays a lot of whatever the popular games are on the iPad, and I find her to be just as versed on an iPad as I am because of that.
So you actually are open to the new games as well in the new
Yeah,
platforms.
yeah. Not something that I play or I enjoy, but I enjoy watching her play them and get enjoyment out of it.
So you're not really playing yourself.
No, I'm not. I just watch my daughter play.
Okay, let's talk about the Twitch channel. So what do you actually present on the
It's
Twitch
very
channel?
easy.
that
It's
you
sort of
have?
like, do you know who David Letterman is?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's sort of like David Letterman, and I'm playing Dave, and we interview all different kinds of arcade celebrities, people from my arcade that come in every week, the best players, and we talk about anything classic arcade. And we've had on Nolan Bushnell, founder of Atari. We've had Eugene Jarvis, the creator of Robotron and Defender. Of course, Billy is a regular guest. We do Hate Mail with Bill Mitchell. We have Joel West as regular. Mark Albiger, who's running the contest, was on. We do heavy metal karaoke with classic arcade game players when I make these guys sing heavy metal songs, and it's quite funny. We do all kinds of different skits and things that you'd see on like a late night talk show, but it's all based in classic arcade.
Great, great. So I'm following it now. I will definitely check it out next Friday. You say, right?
6 days a
That would be Saturday for me.
Okay,
Right. I will
yeah,
check it out. And if I
good,
miss it, I will look in the archives
awesome.
that you hopefully enabled.
Yep, and not only that, that is going to be used for the pilot for our TV show that we're working on.
Do you actually know when the TV show will be started or recorded?
Well, right now we are filming the pilot and the first episode, so hopefully they come out good and they get picked up, and then they will come out. Right now it's all in the infant stages.
Wow, great. I hope we can keep in touch over Facebook. I really want to know how it's going.
I sure will. You have my
Sure.
word. You have my word.
Great, great, great. Well, so that was all my questions. Did I miss anything you would like to add?
No, not at all. The only thing I'd like to plug is Walter probably already did, but Walter Day is doing his trading cards. And if you go onto, they're building a website, and it has all the different trading cards that Walter Day produces for the characters around here in the arcade scene. And there's a couple of my daughter right there. So
I saw
check
it,
out,
yeah.
follow Walter Day on Facebook as well, and get a
Of
bunch of his
course.
trading cards.
I'm
That's the
I'm
only thing I
already
could really think
in.
of. Yeah, all right,
He's,
great.
he's actually the first person I interviewed.
Awesome. Okay, I wasn't there for that. And I'm going to hand it back over to Bill, because Bill knows how to close out an interview like nobody. But here he
Okay,
is.
thank
Right,
you.
great to
Thank you
talk
very
to you.
much. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye-bye. I'll keep in touch.
Keep in touch.